All right, looks like a few more people have joined us tonight. As I said before, you may not know my voice. My name's Amanda Wessler. I am the drag racing specialist here at My Race Pass. However, we're talking about website things tonight, and I know a lot about website things. I'm going to get started. Like in previous days, Austin has said, if you could please drop in the chat what track or series you're working with. That'll be really helpful for us as we move forward in this process. Please put that in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to get started. So, tonight, like I said, we're going to be talking about all sorts of website things, how to modify your website, where to find the information, and why a website is so important. We're going to start. This obviously is the dashboard of our test track, your favorite track. I'm going to start by looking at the front side of our website and just talk about the few features and kind of typically where they're found on their websites that My Race Pass creates. So I'm going to open up this website. This is our test track website. You can see that we have lots of things on here, just like most of our websites do. The important things that we need to talk about are why a professional looking website and an accurate website is so important. It's really important that your website is accurate, particularly because if people don't have the accurate information, they can't come to your events. And while social media is good and it is useful, having a website where all this stuff is contained, where they can find it in the same place every time, is really helpful. So this is what our main screen looks like. And there's a lot of things that we need to look at that are considered high traffic areas, right? We have your schedule, your results, your points, and particularly your news articles. So we're going to talk about a lot about those areas tonight, especially when it comes to the most important three areas of your website, which are the schedule for the most part and results in points. Because on the My Race Pass websites, for most of you, those things, once you've created those, they're going to update on their own. So your schedule, once you have it in there, you don't have to touch it again unless you need to update something. Your results, if you use My Race Pass to score your races or score your events, all of those results are going to pre-populate in there for you. So you don't really have to touch that either. And points are really nice because if you use our point schemes and our point system, you go in there, apply that point scheme to your event, and automatically your points are updated and published to your website. So it's really nice for My Race Pass to have all these kind of integrated for you. So it's a little less time consuming to update all of these different pieces of your website when you can do it pretty easily. So the schedule, let's look at the schedule really quickly. From your schedule, you can see all sorts of things. So if I click on schedule for our My Favorite Track, you can see obviously today we actually have an event because one of my colleagues, Chris, is actually at an event right now. So you can see there's an event today and it has tickets attached. So see where it says tickets. That event has active tickets that somebody could purchase. Otherwise, if it's an event that's already happened and it's got results, you can see it says results. Or you might have something that says details. That either means that the event hasn't happened yet, or potentially that the event was not run into completion or something of that nature. The other thing is you can see that this one right here says it's live now. That's because Austin was running a simulation race on that event the other day and maybe didn't finish that. So there are lots of different things that you can get from here. Obviously, when you click on tickets, it'll take you to our tickets page for that event where you can select the tickets that are available. So we'll get more into that a little bit later, but that's kind of what your schedule does for you. It actually brings in a lot of different pieces for you all in one place. So if somebody's trying to find out information about your track, the schedule is a really great place to go because all of that information is going to be kind of contained in that one place. The next thing I want to talk about is inside of those events. So we talked a little bit about when you have an event, you can see that you have results. If you click on one of these result pages, not only are you going to see results from that event and all the things that happen, but if there happens to be any kind of news articles that are attached to that event, they will show up on this screen as well. And a good example of that is the Wild West Shootout. So they have a website through us. This is their website. This is their schedule. So if I click on any of these that says results, and some that don't have results actually, you can see I get the detailed information about their event, but I also get the classes that they offer. And then I also have these news articles. So these are the news articles that have been tagged with this event. So then all of the information for this event forever is housed on this one page. So all of these news articles actually mention the Wild West shootout in some form or fashion, and they're tagged within the news article. And I'll show you how to do those tags here in just a minute. So that's kind of what I wanted to look at in terms of the schedule. It gives you a lot of information. Like I said, results typically, especially on the oval side, are uploaded through MRP Live. In drag racing, some of us can do live results or uploaded automatically results, and then some of us actually still have to do manual input results. But that is an option. You can still do results that way. And then now let's dive into our news article stuff. So news articles are super important on a website. So if we look at our news articles here, ours are actually under media, which is not always common. Typically, most websites have a news button along the top. But you can see that I only have one news article for 2025. Let's go back to 2024. You can see that this is kind of what your news articles would look like. We recommend that you do often post news articles updating your information, whether it's a race recap or a schedule update or maybe some general announcements that are out there. It's really nice to keep your website informed and active to keep people engaged in your website. It does a really good job of driving traffic to your website because we want people to visit it. And there are a number of reasons why we want that to happen. And we'll talk about those in just a few minutes as well. But we really like to push the idea of your news channel or your news page is a great place to have people visit often to stay engaged in what you've got going on, because more likely they'll be coming to your racetrack or to your series in the future. So that's kind of on the front side of the website. However, if you look at this website, particularly this one right here, you can see that you have two ads, one across the top and one down the side. Creating all these news articles and driving people back to your website is really helpful to earn revenue through what we call digital advertising. So we have this option that you can add to your website called digital advertising, and there are other websites that have those, like this one here. The Wild West Shootout has it. You can see this is a scrolling banner. They have ads down the side as well. Those are really nice because those are ads that we go out and sell for you, quote unquote. We go to the advertisers or the corporate advertising level, and we get corporate level advertising to put on our websites. And then when you say, yeah, I want to put those on my websites, we actually share the revenue from those ads back to the tracks and series that work with us. So how that money is distributed back to you is based on the number of website visits or impressions that you get on your website. So the more traffic you can drive to your website, the more revenue you're going to earn from these ads currently being on your website, because that's going to create more impressions for the advertiser. We do pay those out on a quarterly basis. So every quarter you could get a check or it's actually an ACH from us with those funds in there. Many tracks are really good at pushing traffic back to their websites. And when they do that, they've seen a really decent chunk of money come to them, and it actually pays for their website hosting plans just from the ads that are placed on their websites, because they draw so much traffic back to their websites. So a couple ways you can increase that revenue is to obviously send people to your website. You can share links to your news articles directly to your Facebook pages. That helps a lot, because then you can they click on that link and it directs them back to your website. That's another visit. That's more revenue in your pocket. Another way is to share links to web pages, like your points page that you would normally maybe copy and paste onto a Facebook post or something of that nature. You can share that link to your points page, and then those people will click on that link and it will direct them back to your website. Again, another impression. Another one that I don't know that a lot of people utilize super well is to add photo galleries. Add photo galleries of your events. I know a lot of people create those photo albums on Facebook, but instead post them on your website and then share that link to your Facebook. Because again, it's shared there. So people are still going to see the photos, but they're going to see them on your website, which means another impression for you, another impression for the advertiser. And then again, it's just more revenue for you. So that's why we really encourage you to think about adding these digital ads to your websites. Not only is it good for the companies that are helping try to support the motorsports industry, but it also helps you guys as tracks and series kind of get revenue from another place that I don't want to say that you don't work for, because you do. You're driving traffic to your website, but it's more revenue for you that you didn't have to, go out and find per se. So that's kind of on the front side. That's a lot of stuff on the front side, but that's just a little bit. So now let's look at the back side of our website. So if I go to our profile page, this is really where you're going to find all the ways to edit your profile. So edit your website. So the first place you're going to go is to this globe right here that says web management. That's really where you're going to find all the tools that you need. We are going to start in the news tab tonight because that is typically the most used tab on a typical website. So there are two ways to publish news articles on a website. When you click on the news tab of a website, you may have it pop up like this. There are a couple articles that my race pass has been tagged in that I can now choose to add by clicking on this checkbox. I can add the selected article or I can dismiss the selected article. Let's say I want to add this to my website. I'm like, oh yeah, that's some good information. I can add it there. Or if I don't want it to be on there, I can just check the box and say dismiss selected. But this happens when multiple people tag you or your track or a driver or whatever. Again, we'll talk about where you do those things in a minute, but where you tag them, and then those articles can be distributed on other websites where they have been tagged. Another example of this is on the Huset's website. Huset's always has a lot of people. As you can see, there's a lot of articles. It says we found 50 articles that people have tagged them in. Not all from 2025, obviously, but there's quite a few. But you can see that this was tagged by somebody else. It's shared from MSTS. This one shared from Bill Baylog, and then this one is shared from somebody else. So there are multiple articles that have tagged Huset's in it because they race there, or it's a series that goes there, or something of that nature. And now Huset's can choose, yeah, I want to share that on my website also. So they check the box, click add. So it's a really nice way to get some easy content onto your website in terms of news articles that you didn't have to write. So that's one way to get them published. The other way to get them published is actually to create your own news articles. So to do that, obviously up here in the top left where it says add news, you're going to click on that. And you've got a lot of different areas that you need to complete / fill in to make this a nice presenting article. So the first thing you're going to start with is your heading. That's like a title. You're just going to put whatever it is that you want to put in that box. Obviously, the date is the date that the article is going to be published. Submit as an administrator, that's up to you. I usually leave that on. The next thing is the credits. Let's say you want to credit a news source or a particular writer that really writes well for you or writes for you a lot. You can give credit to that person in this box here. Underneath that is the body. Now, when you write the body of your news article, we do suggest that you kind of write it somewhere else that's not online, like an offline Google Doc or a Word document. We really do suggest that just in case like you lose internet connection or something in the middle of writing it, and then it's all lost. And then you're like, where did it go? So we recommend kind of creating that article somewhere in a safe spot, not connected to the internet, and then copying and pasting it here so that you have it no matter what. But then you just type in here whatever news article you want to write. There are a few different markdown syntax that you can use, which I'll talk about in a moment, but it's just things that you can make it bold or you can make it italicized and kind of jazz up your article a little bit. Over here on the top right, you can see that we have article media. Now this is where you're going to put the image that you want to have, right? So whatever image you want to do. So you click add media, it's going to take you to your your photo galleries. You can select an image from your photo galleries or you can upload new. It's really up to you. You can upload or select multiple pictures for this news article. So if I select both of those and I click select, both of those images will be added to my news article. But the first one will be the image that shows up on your news page. And then the second one will actually be located at the bottom of the news article. So you can have multiple pictures here. It doesn't necessarily hurt anything, but they will all be attached to that news article somehow. You can reorder them. So let's say you selected them when, oh man, I want this one first. You just click reorder, and then you can click and drag. Actually, it's easier to go this way. Click and drag them in the opposite order from what they were. So that's how you add a media. Again, that would be considered like an image of some description. Underneath that, this is where all those tags that I've been mentioning come into play. So article networking is something that's really awesome within MyRacePass, and it really creates the network that we always talk about. You have the ability to tag multiple different things within an article that can help spread this article to many different people that you may not always be able to reach otherwise. So the first thing you have to do is you always have to pick a type. That is one thing that is always required for you to write a news article. So click search, and you're going to click the type of racing that you are doing. So whether it's a boat race or a drag race or some kind of modified race, whatever it is, you're going to select the type of race that you're doing. And then once you've got a type, then underneath of that you can see drivers. So if this is a race recap and you've put in there photos of all of your winning drivers or your runner-ups or your first, second, thirds, you can tag those drivers, because again, then they can share it on their MyRacePass profile or their website. And then again, it gets the reach a little further because now all of their fans are looking at your article as well. Underneath that is tracks. So if you are a series or you are writing an article that pertains to another track, you can type the track names in here and they should pop up and you can add those to your tag list. Series as well. So let's say you're a track and you've got a series that's traveling to you. Tagging the event. So remember on that Wild West Shootout page how I said all of these articles are listed down here? That's because somebody went in and tagged an individual event for that article. So if you click the magnifying glass, again, you can select an article, or sorry, select an event that this article can be attached to. So if I select that event, now when I go to that event's page, it will show this article. Underneath that's the class, same thing. You can tag the classes and then sponsors. So all of those are tags that you can create. Now, some of those tags are things that you're going to use a lot. So if you select the tags that you're going to commonly use, you can actually set those as your default tags, and you don't have to select those every time, which is kind of nice. So once you've got all your tags in place, then you just preview your news. Oh, sorry, I had yesterday's or tomorrow's date in there. I apologize. And then we're just going to say something like that. I'm going to put some stuff in here. And then I'm going to say preview news, and it's going to show me what it's going to look like. And when it does that, it should. I apologize. It's taking forever. I think I forgot something. There we go. I'll just go back here. And then you'll create this one. See, it's untitled right here. That's because I did not put a title in there. So that's what it would look like. If there's a news article that you want to turn off or on, like let's say it's mentioning something that's coming up and then you're like, I don't need to mention that anymore, you can actually hit this stop sign or checkbox, this check mark, and it will turn the article off, and then you can turn it back on. So that's kind of what news looks like. There are a few more things you could do within the news, like I talked about with the markdown syntax. It is in our help center. If you ever need anything in terms of markdown syntax, just type that into our help center and it will come up. It looks like this. It kind of just gives you the keys to creating italicized words or bold words and that kind of thing. So that is in our help center article if you need that for reference. So again, that's kind of news articles. If you have any questions about it, don't forget support@myracepass.com. That will really get you your questions answered unless you have them now. And I'm hoping that Ross or Dakota can help you with those in the chat. Other than that, I'm going to move on to the next piece of, oh, I do want to talk about one thing. I'm sorry, I forgot about one thing. Once you create a news article, I forgot to mention this. Once you create a news article, you can, like I said, share it directly to Facebook. Again, those are going to draw those views back to your website. Once you create the news article and you're inside of it, you can do it from already created news article or a brand new news article. You see this button right up here that says share this. If you click on that, it will open this window, and here's where you can post it to your Facebook. We don't have a Facebook attached to our account right now, but if you did, you could just select the post to Facebook and then post, and it creates a Facebook post with a link to your news article. So again, that's one way to pull those people back to your particular website. All right, so the next up is the media tab. Under the media tab, there's a couple different things I want to talk about, particularly the photos and videos. Photos more important than videos in my opinion, but photos is the first one. This is what it looks like when you get into your photos tab. Under photos, there's a number of different ways you can organize your photos. You can create different galleries for news article photos. I actually typically do that when I help create websites. I create a folder where my news article photos are going to go, because typically those aren't necessarily anything that goes anywhere else. And then I can turn the album off. So you can see like this one right here, it's hidden. That means I turned it off. It's not going to show on my website. So I'll create a news articles photo album, and then I'll put pictures in there as I create the news articles. And then I'll shut that off so not everybody can see that. It helps keep my brain organized, so that's why I do it, and that's why I suggest it. You can also do albums for individual events. So let's say you've got an event on January, well, take that back, we're in February 2nd. You can make an album that says the title of the event or the date of the event or whatever it might be. And then you can add all the photos to the event into that folder. And then, like I said, from your website, share the link to that page and say, here's the photos from the event on February 2nd. You can also create folders for like winner circle pictures or photos by classes. Let's say, like in drag racing, we have a bunch of junior dragsters. Let's put a junior dragster album together that's nothing but junior dragsters, right? So you can create these galleries or these albums, these galleries in so many different ways. And it really helps a lot. So that's another way to do that. Inside, you just create a gallery, super easy. It's got a name and a date. And then when you get into a gallery to add photos, you click add. Ooh, that was a photo album inside of an album. You're going to click add up here on the top, and then it's going to bring you this screen, and you're going to say upload new. And then here's the really cool part. We have this drag and drop files. The really nice part about this is you can drag and drop 100+ files at one time, and it takes just minutes to upload them. It's super fast and easy, and it makes it so much easier to upload a bazillion pictures at one time. And then you don't have to remember which ones you've already selected and which ones you don't. So that's how you upload pictures. Once they're in here, you can reorder those. Like I said, if you ever want to put them in a particular order, or you can put captions on them. Putting captions on them does show in the top left corner when you enlarge them on your website. You can also make them larger here if you want to. So on the front side of the website, if you go to media and you go to photos, your galleries look like this. And then you can click within that gallery to see the photos that were put within that gallery. So that's what it looks like for the photos. As for the videos are done the exact same way. The interface looks so much the same. You can create galleries for videos, just like I said before. So again, if you have multiple videos for the same event, you're just going to click add gallery, same way. And then when you go to upload a video, you click the add button, just like you do in photos. But instead, the upload screen looks a little bit different because the video has to be hosted somewhere online first before it can be uploaded to your website. So you can have it on YouTube or Vimeo or Ustream, something of that nature. You copy and paste that URL right here, and then you can upload it to your website. So that's how you upload videos. The last thing I want to talk about underneath of this media tab or this media dropdown is manage files. This is where you're going to find a lot of the files that you use elsewhere on your website. So if you put a file document on a different page of your website, it will live here on this page. You can also add files directly to this page if it's easier for you, and then find them from the other pages. But this is where you're going to find any file that you've attached somewhere else on your website. It's kind of nice because you can put like a yearly schedule that you want to be printable for people. You could put that on here. You could put rules documents and some sort of registration form for something other than registrations, because we do those. But all kinds of documents like that. So yeah, that's all. That's the manage files section. There's not a whole lot to it, but I wanted to point it out. Next up would be that contacts tab. So the contact dropdown has 4 different selections. We're going to talk a little bit about all of them. The first one is the general contact. Now this information is important because obviously people need to know where to find your racetrack or where your facility is or wherever. So underneath here, here's the way you're going to put contact name information if there's somebody specific that you want them to contact. Phone number obviously is important, email, website, and then your physical and mailing addresses. Those are going to be important for people to be able to find you. So that's the general contact page. That shows up right here at the top. Hold on, I need to find our contact page. Maybe it's FAQs. Nope. Well, we used to have a contact page on here. I don't see it now, but let's look at the Wild West one instead. So if you have a contact page, it's going to look something like this, where you've got the general contact information right down here. Okay, that's kind of what it looks like on a website. Underneath of that is what we call form subjects. So when somebody's trying to message into you and say, hey, I have a question about this, they're going to use some kind of form subject. So you get to create the subjects of those forms. That's what this page is. So over here on the left-hand side, you can add new emails to be sent, and then you can use those available emails to put them attached to a particular subject. So if I wanted to send all of the questions about tech to a particular person, you could say tech questions is the subject, and then you're going to attach it to a particular person. That happens to be me in this case. You can also put multiple people on there. So you can see this first one, the subject is merchandise. And when somebody emails in with a merchandise question through our contact page, it's actually going to get sent to 2 people. It's going to get sent to this email address, and it's going to also get sent to that email address. So you can attach it to as many people as you want to, but obviously at least one person. So when somebody, so on this page, that would be like this section. So you can see where it says subject right here. On this drop down, if there was more than one, you would see them listed right there. And that would be where you could select the different subjects to send an email in about. So that's kind of what form subjects are. The nice part is when they get, or these people will get sent emails, but you will be able to also look at those messages on the back side. And I'm going to show you that in just a moment. Actually, I'll show it to you now. So let's say somebody emails in a merchandise question to one of these people or to these people. They not only, like I said, will get an email, but the messages also show up here under the view messages. So if I click on view messages, I will see any question that's ever been sent to that particular form, merchandise or otherwise. It doesn't just have to be merchandise, but any email that's sent through this form right here, no matter what subject it's about, it will show up. Oh, I apologize. It will show up on this screen right here. And if there were a lot of messages, obviously you could filter that, but obviously there's only 2 here, so I don't need to do that. So form subjects, again, you can have it be any subject you'd like, and you can have it go to any email address that you would like. Again, you just add an email address, select it from the list, type in the subject, and add it. Last thing underneath this tab is the staff members. Staff members is not always required. I don't think that many people use it, but it does show up nicely if you do. So staff members, you can add them here. You can, you give their name, their email, their title, their phone number, whatever information you want to. Some people only put name and title. Some put name, title, and some kind of email and or phone number. You could also put a description for them if you'd like to. Once you've added them, you can also put photos attached to them. Now, you don't have to, obviously, but you can. So in this case, I'll show you some examples. The Wild West actually has some individual contacts, so that's what it shows up as, individual contacts. And you can see that they're listed here. Now, obviously, you see these people don't have photos attached to them, but you have their name and their title and some contact information. Over here on the IHRA site, this is one of our newer ones, they asked that I put their IHRA logo as their photos. So you can see every single one of them has a photo, quote unquote. It's all the same photo, but that's what they wanted. So again, it has name and position at least, or title. And some people do have their contact emails. Pardon me. So that's what staff would look like. After the staff page comes where all the custom pages come in. So I feel like I'm moving really fast, but I feel like I'm covering a lot of stuff. So we've got a good chunk of time that I can talk some more about some custom page stuff. So that would be any page that you've asked for beyond the pages that I've already mentioned that are typically on a website. Whether that's driver information or let's look at our front side, fan information, driver information, about, any of those kind of tabs that are additional, quote unquote, what we call them custom pages. So we'll find those all underneath of the more drop down. So if you click more, you'll see a long list of them here. Not all of the websites have all of these options. So this list will look very different depending on your particular website. So some of this stuff, like I said, the about page, our website has an about page. So if I click on the about page, it brings up what we call a super page or the custom page for that particular website page. So on this page, I can modify, edit, and add, subtract, whatever I'd like to do with all of the information that's on here. So you can see that there's these little tabs right here that say insert here, insert here. That's what's going to give you the options that you have for adding to this particular page. So if I click insert here, it brings up the 8 different options that you have for adding content to your website. Now these are very different. I'm going to talk a little bit about each of them, but I'm going to tell you my favorites because I do have some favorites. If you'd like to break up your page, like let's say you want to break it up into sections, similar to what's written right here. See how this says history? I could break that up into a section, right? I could say this is the history section, and underneath that or above that, I could put a different section. It's like a section header. Okay, so it easily separates information on your page. The next one over is a simple paragraph. This one is my favorite. I use this one a lot. So you can see this little, you probably can't read it from your screen, but I'll read it for you. In this little black box, it says this paragraph section can include a header, a body, and a picture. Only the body is required, however, and the picture will have 3 size options and placement options. That one particularly is my favorite because I do like to add a lot of pictures to the stuff. So if I click add element, it will pop up the window. Again, like I said, header, body, and then picture. So you don't add the picture here, you'll add that picture in a separate spot. But you can pick how big you want it to be, small or medium, and then the location of that picture. Do you want it on the left side of your paragraph or on the right side of your paragraph? Again, you do need a body of some kind, so I'm just going to put some gibberish in here so I can show you kind of what it looks like. So that would be like the body, and then I can save. And then to add a picture to this little paragraph, you're going to click on this second pencil-y guy over. Kind of looks like a Polaroid with a pencil over the top of it. And you can see that the box that pops up does say edit image. You click that, and then again, you can select an image to add to that paragraph. Once you've added it, you do just click this top right and it gets rid of that. So now I have my image over here on the left, and then my body is right there. So that's a simple paragraph. Again, like I said, that one's my favorite. However, I have grown to like another in a very close second. So the next thing over is the page list. This is if you're going to do a list of items, like if you had past winners, you could do them in a page list, or you're just trying to lay out all of the things that you offer, all the things that you'll have to bring, or something of that nature. It's a list section. You can It does have a header, and you can do 2 columns. So you can do 1 column or 2 columns depending on how much information you have to put into those into that spot. So again, it's kind of nice because you can list a lot of things and put it into 2 sections, which doesn't make the list look forever long when you create 2 columns out of it. Next one over is your file download. So if you remember me talking about the media, or so the manage files drop down over here underneath media, this is where those files would come into play. So if you did a file download and you clicked element, you can give it a heading, obviously. So if you did one for like rules, and then you click add files. This is where you're going to see, obviously I don't have any current files. I could click on available files, which would be all of those files that were located underneath that manage files drop down. And I could choose those to add to my download, or I can click upload new, where I can choose to upload the document right here. And then again, it gets added to that manage files page. So again, revision date is required. So revision date, give it a name that you actually want to display, because this is the name that's going to show up on your website. So make sure it's descriptive enough that people know what they're clicking on. And then obviously choose a file. And then you click upload file and it would be attached there. So I'm going to click add files so you can see what it looks like. So I've got 2 files. Again, once they're added, you click the box in the top, or the X in the top right, and then they're going to show up here. Make sure those are the files you like. You can change the order of those files using the blue arrows, and then you click save. And again, now those are going to show up as clickable links. So when people click on those, it will take them to that document that you have uploaded. It's kind of handy when you have a lot of different files that you want people to have access to, because it's nice and neat and right there for you. Media items, that's another one. It's a single large image or video with a title and caption. If you want one giant image and then just some stuff written underneath of it, that's going to be your go-to. Like if you want to put a picture of your racetrack from back in the day underneath your history and then say what it is, right? That would be a good choice. The next one over is a blank section. This one now is my second favorite. It does use a lot of our markdown syntaxes. So again, if you're looking for ways to make things bold and whatever else, it does have some of them listed over here on the right-hand side, the most common ones. But again, there are more and more details involved on that Markdown Syntax Help Center article. So find that there. But this is just a blank section. You just literally type in what you want it to say. There is no photo or anything attached to it. It's just write your heart out. Next one over is an image gallery. So very similar to an image, or sorry, very similar to a media item, but because it's a gallery, you actually can upload up to 10 images right here. And if you do, it will look like this. So this right here is a media gallery. So you can see that there are multiple pictures that show up at the same time. And you can click on those and they do become bigger images on the website side. And lastly is the HTML section. I would not recommend using this unless you're like a super cool coder. I don't really think it's handy for anybody that doesn't know a lot about it. So I personally would stick to the simple paragraphs, the blank sections, and some of your media or gallery items, just to make things simple for yourself. Think about how you want it to lay out. If you were going to somebody's website, what would you want it to look like, or expect it to look like, or that kind of thing. So that's the last thing I want to talk about. For the most part. So backtrack a little bit, I guess. All of the super pages that are on your website, whether it's track information, history, whatever else, they all have the same format. So you have the same 8 options no matter where you go or what you're adding to. So think about what kind of information you want there and how you think it's going to be best presented, not only for obviously you, but for your customers that are looking for the information. So that's the last thing I had to talk about tonight. I don't know if there are any comments that I need to answer. It looks like just some, yeah, sorry about that. I was trying to be a little bit louder. I had to turn it up a lot, and so hopefully that helped. So But otherwise, I think that's all I have to say tonight. So if there aren't any questions for me or for Ross or any of the other people that I work with that are in here, I think I'm going to call that uh, a night. And I hope that was really helpful. If you have any questions, like Ross says, and like Austin always says, please don't hesitate to reach out, support@myracepass.com. We will be there for you in anything that you need. If you even it's the littlest question, we're always happy to help. So I hope you all have a fantastic evening, and I'll talk to you later.